Welcome back to Madison Square Garden, right here on the set from Big East Media Day. It's Big East Shoot-Around, our Season 3 premiere. Alongside my partner, Steve Lavin from Fox Sports, I'm John Fanta. So great to have you with us here throughout the day. And let's talk preseason honorees. And a lot of the players have said it, preseason doesn't mean anything, but that said, you see what people are thinking heading into the year, and then we'll see if that translates. What stands out to you as we look at the All-Big East preseason team?
Well, no surprise, because we have players returning from strong seasons, and then that year of experience. Miles Powell, an example. Marcus Howard. Last year, the Big East was about guard play, and once again, we're going to have some outstanding guards in this conference, and so these awards are an indication of good players returning.
Looking at Marcus Howard, Coach, he has, if you name the accolade, he's done it in his first 3 years. And an NCAA tournament run is really the last thing remaining. But for him individually, you've coached a lot of star players. How do you keep your stars motivated and focused? Well,
each player is different, so based on their makeup, their emotional makeup, and the feel that you have for them, that's how you make adjustments and are able to push the right buttons, is developing a rapport or relationship and understanding what makes a player tick. There's some players that need a foot in the fanny, light a fire under their fanny. Others, you got to put an arm around them and encourage them. So it really depends. But I think that's what coaching and teaching and parenting and leadership is about. But Marcus Howard, as prolific a scorer as we've seen in college basketball, the quick trigger, he's improved at putting the ball on the deck and creating a real blow to Marquette to lose the Hausers. Their second and third leading scorer, their first and second rebounders. But that's what coaching's about. Wojo's going to make some adjustments. They still have players, Theo Johns and Sakari Anum, some newcomers, some transfers. And, of course, when you've got a player like Marcus Howard, you're going to continue to ride him as well.
And Marcus Howard will be facing Miles Powell twice, maybe a third time here at Madison Square Garden. That will be a matchup that is looked forward to around the country in terms of a 1v1 matchup once again. And now Powell, Big East preseason player of the year. The incumbent in this race is Marcus Howard, but at least for now, with Powell being the preseason player of the year, what separates him from the rest of the pack of the great guards in this league?
Well, he seems to have an ability to step up and seize the big moments, and that's what great players do, whether it's the biggest shot of the game. Even defensively, we've seen him improve over the course of his career. He's taking care of himself now in terms of his physicality, the way he eats, his diet, but he loves the big moment, the crunch time performer, late clock, late game situations. There's no one in the country that I'd rather have the ball in their hands than Miles Powell, and that's why Kevin Willard's had the success he's had, is he understands how to put players in position to be successful. But what I like about Powell is he works within the framework of the team. At times, Kevin Willard has to encourage him to be more aggressive on his catches and to look to impose his gifts on the game, because he's an unselfish player, and that's a good place to start, but they need him to obviously carry the load this year once again.
Right here on this floor, Powell going for 30 in the first half against Georgetown last year, Big East tournament record.
Electrifying.
And, it was absolutely incredible. More moments in store. And let's look at the Big East freshman of the year. That's Jeremiah Robinson Earl, part of a top-tier recruiting class for Jay Wright.
Yeah, and Villanova just reloads, like you said, a number 4 ranked recruiting class. And when you've won 2 national championships in the last 5 years, that's when you're going to be able to sign those kind of classes because of the attention that a national championship brings and the credibility. And so no surprise, Villanova continues to reload, and not picked first this year, which will probably be refreshing for Coach Wright to not have the bullseye on his team. But everyone knows that Villanova is going to be right there once again.
When you coached against Jay Wright, how did you prepare for Villanova?
Well, it really came down to personnel. You've got to look not only at their style of play, but you look at players within that style of play and what their tendencies are, what their strengths are. And so if it's an Archie Diacono, his ability to work the on-ball screening action, pick and pops, pick and rolls, how are you going to defend him? So Jay makes great adjustments, not only from game to game, but within games, first half to second half, or even coming out of a timeout. And then over the course of the season, he also adjusts to his personnel and talent as well as any coach in the country. And that's one of his real strengths. So you kind of assess, Villanova's style of play if you're going up against them, but also their personnel and how you're going to neutralize or offset some of their key weapons.
Looking big picture in the Big East, who's a dark horse candidate?
I think DePaul. I like DePaul's front line. You look at Reed and you look at Butts. Those two were high percentage finishers. They didn't get the most shots last year when you had Strus and company, but I think this year Dave Lato's going to play through the post. He's going to attack the paint, and he has the personnel and experience now with Butts and Reed being juniors. And those are both potential NBA players. Don't be surprised if Reed and Butts don't have long careers in the NBA. And once you get your roster to a place where you've got some NBA players, you've got a chance to have special seasons. And that's why I think the Blue Demons, Gage out top, you talked about Charlie Moore earlier.
Moore, big addition, Coach.
This will be the most balanced Blue Demons team that we've seen in decades.
All right. Great breakdown there of the DePaul Blue Demons. After this, we're going to